Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. We have a very special guest here. Back again. Danny Football is here. We're going to talk all about the NFL season starting up, fantasy football, talk about our league together, and talk about the Celtics who have a big game tonight. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. It's Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by my good friend James.
Hello.
Producer John's over there.
Yo.
And today...
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
He's holding the microphone like this, like it's
ready.
A conch shell.
You caught me off guard.
Ready to out some boxing over here.
It's not like we do the same intro every 50-something episodes, 40-something episodes.
48.
48.
Episode 48.
48.
Almost at a year.
Almost at a year. Big episode coming next week. We'll get into that a little bit, but we're also joined by Danny Football.
My mic is on the stand, ready to go.
He's been here since probably last week, ready to go, prepared for this.
I've been ready since March when you guys, just before everything shut down, and you guys went on a laundry list of guests, but 6 months later, we're ready to go.
And you were over there.
Yeah, this is a whole new setup for me. I know a lot of legendary butts have been in this seat, but I'm ready to take this home.
Shout out Jack Moran and Dave Griffin.
The goats.
So, first of all, it's great having you on. Like we said,
Love being here.
Coming up on it. It's hard to believe, John, you mentioned a year. This is like our first episode came out a year next week.
September 17th, I think.
True fan.
How's that feel? I guess we'll get into it. We'll get into it next week. I was going to say feel, but who cares now?
Who cares? We're not out of here.
51. Don't even ask me.
Doesn't even matter.
Don't even ask me.
But we're excited for that next week. But getting into it, we have you're in our fantasy football league. The episode, the draft video dropped today. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you go out on YouTube at Big Red Zone. Make sure you hit the like button and watch that video and subscribe to that as well as this one. Make sure you tell a friend to watch it and watch the pod.
Tell a friend, please.
And follow us on Instagram because we posted a great introduction video made by producer John. One of my favorite videos that we've made.
It was your idea.
Yeah, that's probably why I really like it.
You were bugging me for weeks. Like, can we do a Friends theme? Can we do a Friends theme?
Well, obviously, judging by the results we've already had, it's great.
If for no other reason you watch that video, it's completely worth it just to watch Jack Moran and Dave Griffin go at it for at least 10 minutes straight.
Savages.
They just
rip each other apart, limb from limb.
I thought Jack and I have a pretty good rivalry, but let me tell you something. The Dave Griffin...
Dude, I don't know if you see it, but they playing mini golf together. They go back and forth all the time.
They love each other.
They really love each other. I think that's what really it is. But what initial thoughts from post-draft?
I think Dave Griffin had a horrible draft.
Terrible draft.
Gave us all a lot of free players. Honestly, across the board, like other than Dave's team, pretty solid all across the board. Definitely, that was probably the fastest draft I've ever had.
Oh, what was it? It was easily
under an hour, I think.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
We blew through that thing.
But we all knew what we were doing. Everybody was prepared besides one person.
Yeah,
because in the video, you point out the Clyde Edwards pick, and it was the 9th pick of the draft, and I'm like, we're going fast.
Yeah.
Like, this is quick.
I said to you, I was like, wow, Clyde Edwards. And you said, yeah, we're flying through this right now.
Ignored
the question I threw at you.
Yeah, this is a fast draft. You're like, yeah, but what about the player? I'm like, that's all right.
Yeah, it was, like I said, like you said, it was a fast draft, but I think you're right, James. It was, everyone kind of had an idea what they wanted to go with.
And there weren't really any there are a couple of wild picks, but
it all made sense. Minus one person's team. Everyone else made perfect sense. Like
Rob Gronkowski in the 4th round.
John picking Russell Wilson in the 3rd round was a pretty surprise. I
did that in our other league.
You did, and I said it in our other league. I was like, wow, Russell in the 3rd round.
Because my thought with it is because Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson go in the 3rd round usually. And a lot, like even like Patrick. I mean, in our league, they ended up being keepers, but they go early. I needed a top QB.
But you gave up on a top running back wide receiver.
Have Russell Wilson.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
I was very disappointed. The reason I say that is I wouldn't have picked him in the 3rd round, but I target Russell Wilson in every draft I have. But that's why I was pretty disappointed, especially last night when you took him in the 3rd round. I was like, God. every league I tried to get him, and one league it's a friends league and family league, and it's free, and I kind of just do it, to keep up appearances. I won the first inaugural year, and then I've always been like a top team in that league. Out of 10 teams, I want to say 5 of them auto drafted the whole draft.
Oh my God.
And
That's a family league for you.
That's a family league for you, but they never was like that. And one of them got Russell Wilson auto draft, and I was so mad because they got like all great players from auto drafting, and I was like, I'm putting my effort into this. But getting back to our league, I think you're right. I think everyone seemed it's definitely, I think, the most competitive fantasy league I've been in. Looking at the teams and the rosters, it's hard to say who has an edge one way or the other. But it was fun. It was quick, and it was a good time. Fun getting on the Zoom with everyone.
Good to see Rob.
We need to start thinking of a trophy.
Yeah,
Actually, what would we do for a trophy?
I mean,
because I don't know if we want to do we could just order one and do it, but that seems like not original.
that's
something cool.
Me and Jack have a belt, so I don't know if you guys
in
want
our
to go with
in
a
our
belt.
league,
Yeah,
we have a
a
wrestling
belt,
belt
too.
too. I like that idea.
but
Can we
need
do
to-
something even more original than that?
What do we want to have?
The keys to my car.
A little weird.
I don't know. What's an idea? Throw out an idea. Everyone throw out an idea right here.
Let's see in the well.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Trophy.
When I
Wrestling
think
belt.
of like
Wrestling belt. All right.
a wrestling belt,
Gotta say something
I
different.
think of
Danny.
like, honestly, when I think of like a championship trophy, I think of the Stanley Cup. Something like
Yeah.
huge.
We're not
Which
trying to blow
obviously,
the
which
budget.
isn't like,
Yeah,
I mean,
which isn't like economically viable, but like
I don't know if
something
you've
along
looked
that
around.
lines.
I don't think we have millions of dollars.
Well, I
coming
have
in to buy
a beer Olympics cup that's a decent size, and I just got it $5 at Savers.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Savers.
A good
That's a trip.
move.
That's a good trip to
Yeah.
go to.
while we're doing
Savers.
this pod, I'm actually going to go on Amazon and look.
There we go.
what I can
Yeah.
find.
Let's see if there's anything cheap on Amazon. That's a good idea. I had one from my league that I run outside of this. I got this like little mini, like probably dollar store trophy that I got in like one of my classes.
Or a ring.
trying
You
to-
can do a ring.
A ring would be, but then
That's not a bad idea.
But rings we'd have to order one every year, right? When you have
Oh,
to-
because they would like fit.
You're not
Or
gonna-
you can just make it like a general like champion ring. Like
You got some good options
for
already on
20
Amazon.
bucks.
Amazon's
That
already
doesn't look bad.
killing it.
So we got some options there.
I never knew there
We'll
was
have to get a
large
trophy.
bobblehead. I like
a
the
little
bobblehead
bobblehead.
yeah,
That's even cheaper.
We've
too.
been talking about bobbleheads anyway.
a little
Yeah.
bobblehead of you.
Oh, that would be so
That would
fun.
be so cute.
I may order 2 just to have one.
Yeah,
for me.
exactly.
keep it.
To recap, to kind of wrap that up for fantasy football, for the league anyway, I think it's going to be very competitive. I like your team, Danny. I like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who was your surprise? Who you thought had a great draft that you were kind of surprised about?
In the BRZ league.
Yeah,
Rob. I'll give it to Rob. Rob had a surprising
I
draft.
love
Rob has historically not drafted well, but this year he's really brought his A game. I
He
gotta
is
give him
known
credit.
for having bad drafts.
You
So
know, you take Larry Fitzgerald in the 4th round one year, and then all of a sudden you have a great draft the next. I
2 drafts, great 2
tend to
drafts.
think that something's going on over there in the Marcelo household, but
Yeah, James, big surprise from the draft? Any surprises or?
I mean, the more I think about it, not really. Although I am kind of annoyed someone took my kicker from me, so I was a little
Justin Tucker.
kind of mad.
Well, to be fair, it should have gone to Dave Griffin, who took Will Lutz first, who took a kicker and didn't even take the top 2 kickers in
he
the
wanted
league.
his man. He wanted his
Will
man.
Lutz. He wanted based on wrong projections.
I'm all in on his reasoning though, because they play in a dome, so there's less wind.
I love that you put the mailroom thing behind that. That was so good.
And the best part about it was like when Jack was like, "That's just projections," and he's like,
Everyone go watch that video
Yeah.
on YouTube, Big Red Zone.
"Like it,
Yep.
it's only like
subscribe."
10 minutes.
Yeah,
Dude,
you can
come
watch it.
on.
You're watching this whole podcast. You can watch it 10
You watch
minutes.
10 more minutes.
Yeah,
Split screen it. Watch
Split
one
screen.
and watch the
trailer.
other.
The trailer's
Yeah.
good too.
Trailer.
Trailer's
Trailer.
out now. Everything's out now.
everything's out
Yeah.
now. Be out for over a day. We already have hundreds of views on it.
See, people have already watched it for
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Oh. My most surprising team? Mine.
I'm actually
This is a
impressed with
solid team.
yours.
Mine's great.
Mine's
Mine's amazing.
shout out Andy Terrio. I was actually, because I didn't know how, he's a baseball guy. I don't know how, he's into football, but I didn't know how he was going to draft. He had a very good draft. He had a lot of sneaky picks.
He's having a great couple weeks.
Yeah.
Banger of an episode. And then pretty good draft pick.
Great draft. Great draft. He was locked in, if you watch the video.
I have him week 1.
You have him week 1. That's going to be a big matchup.
That's a 57-43 split right there.
Yeah, that's close.
That's what I like about Sleeper. It does make you depressed when you see like you have like 2% chance to win.
Damn.
But like it stacks the odds. I like it.
We need a Sleeper sponsorship.
We do need a
Sleeper, please.
Sleeper, if you're watching this right now, hit us up
At
on
Sleeper.
Instagram.
It's genuinely really good. Like
I love the app. I think it's
shout out Kamish in our league for introducing
us. Yeah, shout out to the commission in our other league that I'm in with John. He introduced us to Sleeper, and thank God he did because I think it's a great app. Who do I got week 1, James? It would have been good if we played each other week 1.
Ooh. Producer John.
Little interleague rivalry going.
What's the
Big
percentage?
Red has a 56%
Yo.
It's a close one.
I haven't even set my lineup.
Projection
either, so.
130 points to
either.
126.
Wow, huh? And that's with Fournette leaving.
Oof.
I said I didn't want to
you
do
took
it.
him.
I wish I didn't take him. Gosh darn it.
Let's have a respectable matchup.
Hey,
Dude, you guys are so close to the matchup, it's not even funny.
who are you playing, James? Not to like kind of drag this out, but I
well,
kind of want to. Just
I'm
now that
playing
we've asked
AA.
about all three of us, let's.
I'm playing A-May, and
You look like you're gonna crush him.
7%.
yeah, my team is somewhat stacked.
Woo.
So.
Who you got? You got someone
Drew
that's.
Brees, McCaffrey, Manuel Sanders, Cooper,
I was looking at the
Ridley,
wrong side.
Ronald Jones. I mean, he still has a good team. The thing is, he has Lamar Jackson, which is the one person that screwed me last year.
He has Aaron
Lamar-
Jones.
I don't know about
he's
Aaron
so-
Jones this year.
He has like a
Devontae Adams,
Devontae
Moore.
Adams can get you some.
So we'll see. He has the Rams defense, which we'll see how that goes. But
The other part of it is Montgomery's going to be out for the next 3 weeks, so he needs to kind of edit that. But anyways, looking forward to the football season.
Gonna be
Looking forward to the fantasy football season. We'll make, as I said,
this season's
updates.
gonna have a lot of highs and lows for
A
a
lot
lot
of
people.
highs
It's
and
gonna
lows.
be high stress.
You got to win. You got to win early, especially in any fantasy league because you don't know when it's going to get shut down. So
Right.
you better be.
That's an honest question. How would that work? Is it just whoever has the best record
I
wins?
take best record at that
I think
point.
probably best
What if it-
record
what if
or is it points?
What if it stops after like 3 weeks?
best record in points. Asterisk.
Really?
Asterisk next to the win. Probably just. I mean, this week would probably be a wash. I hope in leagues that like you do a buy-in. I hope that's a refunded buy-in because it's like 3
Yeah.
weeks. Like, but I guess in some ways, win. Don't have to worry about it if you win. So I don't know.
Good tip.
Good tip. Win games. So kind of shifting gears a little bit to the NFL, really playing. We had a couple things happen in the past week or so. Big signings, big extensions. I'm going to start off with the big news about Leonard Fournette signing with the Bucs. General reactions. I mean, I'm happy that he signed with somewhere because I have him in fantasy, but I don't know if Bucs was the right call.
I don't understand the move just because they have such a crowded backfield as it is.
Yeah.
I was more expecting him to go somewhere he would have been maybe not the primary back, but at least like a second option on the field. But
Yeah.
in Tampa Bay, I'm not really sure how much use he's really going to get.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We had the same conversation last week where there's about 3 or 4 teams I can think of that desperately need a solid running back. And he went to Tampa, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
By the way, if they don't at least go to the Super Bowl, I don't know what the hell Tampa Bay's doing. Because they have the most stacked team in the league right now, bar none. Like,
Yeah,
they have no excuse. And that puts a lot
zero.
of pressure, though, on Tommy to think about it. He's had the best team basically he's ever had behind him. If you want, maybe not talk defensively, but even though it's still strong
offensively, the best team.
It makes me think of like that dream team, Eagles team a couple years ago, the Rams who were loaded and they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, can they get it done?
And I just don't. I mean, we'll talk about it as the season goes on, but I just don't know about that. I'm not as sold on the Bucs as other people are, and I'm a big Tom and Gronk guy, but I'm not sold on him. As far as a Fournette signing, to like talk about that, I mean, I'm all for if you're the GM, find as many good players and sign them. Like get as many good players in your locker room as you can. But from Fournette's perspective, like I don't understand it. I think it's ring chasing, which is can't fault him. He wants to win a ring, whatever. I'll never fault a player for trying to win a ring because I think that's the most like if I was playing, I'd want to go somewhere that I have a chance to win.
I I don't think he'll have that much impact.
He's not going to have a huge impact.
What was his contract?
1 year?
At 1 year.
How much?
Let's find out.
Like a couple million.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything huge.
It wasn't for a lot, and it's probably more incentive-based.
Yeah.
It'll be another one of those 1 year prove it
struggling
deals.
over here.
Yeah.
You think it was almost a pickup so other people wouldn't get him?
That could be
Honestly, very probable.
it. Ooh.
No, don't look at that.
'Cause it wasn't
That's
for a lot
not
of
it.
money because a lot of teams weren't offering big for him. Which is kind of surprising.
$2 million.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
a couple million. Yeah.
Which to us that would be that'd be awesome.
I mean,
to get
Josh
$2 million.
McCown's getting paid what? 20
a couple $1,000 a
to
week.
sit at home and be the emergency quarterback for the Eagles.
Each week he's the practice squad quarterback. So I like the moves from the Bucks' perspective. I don't really like it from Fournette's perspective. Looking at shifting gears to the other big signing of who I've had my eyes on for the Patriots. He didn't sign with the Patriots. He ended up going with the Titans. What do we think about that signing of the defensive monster going down to Tennessee?
That's going to be a good defense, man. That team's pretty much loaded at every position but quarterback because I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I think between Henry, their wideouts, their defense, I feel like that's a team that should have gone all in on Tom Brady because if you tell me Tom Brady's a Titans quarterback, that team is loaded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now adding Clowney just makes it even more over the top. But that being said, they're not making it out of the AFC.
The thing is, they have so much potential, but they're not going to get. I forget who was the running back's name from last year.
Henry?
Derrick Henry. He's not going to get the same kind of production that he did postseason last year. They're not going to let him.
Yeah.
Other teams aren't going to let him. They're going to target him.
Year to...
So that's what saved him was Derrick Henry, and you can't, as much as even it happened with Lamar, you can't rely on one player to make or break your playoff like that. So they're going to do well. They're going to be over 500. I think we know that. But
playoff team.
Yeah,
I'd say that. Yeah,
they'll barely make it to the playoffs, and
I'd be surprised if they make it past the divisional round.
Yeah, I mean, they were in. Don't forget, they were in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yeah, and they were going punch for punch with the Chiefs, and then they just laid over.
Right, and I mean, you got to understand that you have Ryan Tannehill versus Patrick Mahomes starting.
That's what I mean. If you had Tom Brady over Ryan Tannehill, then you win that game.
Right, but now adding Clowney in the mix, who's going to have nice pass rushing ability to get on to a Patrick Mahomes, maybe he doesn't make that extra throw. I like the Clowney. It's a little. He has a great relationship with Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel was his coach back in. With the Texans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that I think that familiarity between the two is a big like help you get into the system because I think Mike Vrabel's when you're around him,
he already knows how to work with the guy,
right? And he was young when he went in there. Like I think I could be wrong on this. Don't quote me, but I think he was with Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel was with him his rookie year or second year in the league.
I think because didn't he start in Houston as the linebackers coach?
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. He was, worked with Clowney, even though he's a defensive end. He worked with Clowney. He has a good relationship when he was young, fresh in the league, after he was battling injury, because I think Clowney came in and was injured his first year. So, that's what I'm saying. His first playing year, he was definitely with him, because Vrabel was with the Hard Knocks Texans team, and Clowney, that was Clowney's first year back. So, I like that signing. I think it's a great signing for the Tennessee Titans. It gets you another year. Maybe you get him for a long term after this year, but I don't hate it. I wish the Patriots got him, but
Clowney's first year was with Vrabel.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I thought so. I think it makes sense. That makes an impact when you're a rookie coming in and you have a young, just finished playing coach, especially a guy like Mike Vrabel. I think that was a slam dunk signing for them.
If the Patriots got him defensively, that would
have
changed everything.
You thought they were good last year.
They were going to be a Super Bowl contender. I dare say it with Cam Newton, Clowney on there. I think,
especially with half of our defense gone, if you add that guy,
right?
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I think they're a Super Bowl contender. But I like that trade. I like that signing more than the Fournette signing. And now the big one was the re-signing of Deshaun Watson to the Texans. This one, from a Patriots perspective, I was pretty disappointed. Because I've been saying on the pod, this is a guy that I really thought we were going to be able to woo to the Patriots after this year. 4 years, $156 million.
Oh,
That's a lot of money to not be good for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to just kind of waste your career
Mediocre.
down in Houston.
Yeah.
so they're just basically doing that $35 million a year extension.
Something like that. He has a $27 million signing bonus, $39 million annually.
So they could spend that on him, but they couldn't have paid DeAndre Hopkins.
That is absolutely outrageous. And they could have spent that on him, but not give Clowney a contract a couple years ago.
Ridiculous.
That's so weird because we were talking about this at least a little bit before the pod, but like, you got to give him weapons to be able to get the job done.
Right.
And he's down.
Right.
Quite a lot. I mean, he still has potential. He's still a great quarterback. But
Not to jump into maybe fantasy production may not be high, but look out for. I have faith in David Johnson, and I've had faith in the
I have
past.
zero faith in that guy.
I have faith in him. I think it has nothing. He has nothing. No pressure on him. Everyone thinks he's gonna stink, and I think that alone, I think will help him.
I think he's just shot. I think he's done.
I think he'll have we'll see. We'll see. I'm also saying this because I have him in fantasy, so I hope he has a good
slight
year.
bit of bias there.
But I think he won't be that bad. I think he has a lot to prove, and I think a lot of doubters, and I think that resonates with some athletes. Unless he's soft and doesn't like it, then he'll stay.
I don't know. That's going to be such a. That offensive line's not good, so I'm
Yeah,
not sure what he's
that's
really
true.
going to be able to do.
But he can pass catch back too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And Watson, when he's a
and
mobile
Watson really
guy,
only doesn't. He has Cooks, Stills, and Fuller, so he does
Yeah.
need another option.
so I think that's not. I don't think that's a bad. I think he won't be terrible. The Texans definitely got worse, but I think that they're not as bad as people are saying. I think their main problem is still there, and that's Billy O'Brien. I think that's like their main
Huge issue.
issue.
They'll still make it to postseason, but they'll first round knockout.
Now, the biggest thing that I got out of this was Dak is going to get paid next year
By someone.
By someone. Not that it
Not
doesn't look like the
necessarily. It could be Dallas, but I'm not really sure.
But I think they missed an opportunity to sign. They should have signed Dak before Lamar, before not Lamar, sorry, Mahomes
got the pick.
before Deshaun. They should have signed him to a lesser deal because now like the money
Because he
for
originally wanted
quarterback.
35 a year, and everyone was saying that was too much.
Yeah, he was looking for
Something
big
like
money
that.
though.
34, 35, and now he's going to say, well, give me 40. Give me 42.
Especially if he has a
You know.
good year this year, because like if he
It's a make or break year for him.
Yeah.
We
It's a
said. I
prove it
think
year.
we talked about it on the last pod I was on. It's really is make or break for Dak Prescott.
yeah, and I hope he makes it because again,
You want
I
to know
think-
why they're not paying him?
because of Zeke. What?
QB2 Andy Dalton.
Stop
You have the
it.
red rifle in your
Stop
back
it.
pocket, ready to go.
Stop it.
Unleash the man,
Red rifle.
ready to go.
You have a unbelievable like loyalty to this guy.
You see the hair, America? How can I not go for that guy?
Wasn't it you that said the Bengals would be better with him?
Oh,
no,
no,
the
the Bears.
Patriots.
It was the Bears.
Oh, the Bears.
Because I listened back to the episode. Don't worry about that. I listened back and I told you guys the Bears went 8-8, 5 games. They lost by 1 possession, and I told you guys Andy Dalton wins at least 2 of those games. They're 10-6 instead of 8-8, and they go to the playoffs. And that's all you really want in Chicago. Mitch Trubisky's your starting quarterback. You're just trying to get into the playoffs. You're not trying to win.
They
the Super
announced
Bowl.
that Nick Foles is
Yeah,
going
I
to
saw
start as
that.
a backup. I'm shocked.
I don't know why you
that.
even bother bringing him in.
Yeah. Didn't they trade for him? Or they traded something
And that's
for
a
him,
bad
right?
contract.
Yeah, that's a
Bad
big
contract that the Jags started.
Yeah, and now you're gonna bring this guy in for big money, and you're gonna
And
have
then
him
you're just not
sit
even
on
going
your
to use
bench.
him. Not even going to use him.
Wild.
Which beckons again. Why would you not bring in Andy Dalton for, I think, $8 million? No, hear me out. $8 million for Andy Dalton, and you're going to start Mitch Trubisky anyway?
Deshaun Watt, but anyways, to close, that's a huge contract for him. I don't like it because now he's stuck.
Yeah, heartbreaking for Pats fans that really wanted him to come
So
here.
now I don't know. Cam Newton's just going to work out, and he's going to be a quarterback for the next 3 years. 2 years. 1 year.
Unless we draft a stud.
Yeah.
Absolute stud.
Jarrett Stidham. You already have him.
Man.
Last time I've seen you, you were pretty high on Jarrett Stidham.
I have never been
No, you
high
never
on Jared
high on
Stidham.
him?
I was the take him to Logan myself guy.
Oh.
I do not trust Jarrett Stidham with my life.
I don't know.
I know you're
like
a big Jarrett Stidham
I like
guy.
Jarrett Stidham.
I respect it. Like, he definitely has
I think
potential.
we're both. You're a Jarrett Stidham guy too, James, right? Aren't you?
As I've always said, I do not have enough data to really make a definite
Yeah, that's
opinion.
true. He hasn't had.
That's
I
the
just
thing.
base it off that one Jamal Adams pick. That's really all I have.
Well, you know what? A certain someone ended his
Yeah.
career on a pick
And
six.
that's exactly how you responded when we brought it up the first time. You're
Is
like,
that
oh,
really?
Tom Brady threw a pick to Logan Ryan. I was like, damn, he's right.
But I guess we'll see. I think Andy Dalton is sitting in the rafters because they could trade Dak at some point.
They definitely brought him in to, I don't want to say mess with Dak, but kind of put a little bit of pressure on him. Like, hey, if you don't want to sign, we have this guy who can start now.
And we'll draft
I'm not saying Andy Dalton's a Dak Prescott, but he's a serviceable football player.
Exactly.
So if Dak was to say, hey, I'm not going to play, he's like, okay, all right, Andy, get out there and just play games. Throw a ball to Amari Cooper. You've been throwing a ball to A.J. Green your entire career. Here's Amari Cooper. Here's an entire offensive line that will protect you.
Yeah, true. We'll have to see how that happens, but big make-or-break year for Dak Prescott and great year for Deshaun Watson. He's getting paid. We're going to do a segment that we haven't got to do in a very long time. I'm excited to bring it back, the good old days from a year ago. We're going to do Picks of the Week.
This is our Picks of the Week.
All right, so first up, James, what do you got for your Pick of the Week?
Well, there's a lot of good matchups next week, but there's something I don't know if everybody's really watching, are the Packers-Vikings game on Sunday.
Great game. It's going to be a good game.
Should be really even.
Big
Should be
divisional
really close.
game right out of the gate.
Well, the thing is, big day for Aaron Rodgers, because he's got
Jordan Love.
Big game
breathing
for
down
Aaron
his
Rodgers.
neck. This is a prove-it year for Aaron, so we'll see how that goes.
Big game for Aaron Rodgers. He's going to set the league on fire this
And that's
year.
a hungry Vikings defense.
That is. Both teams have a lot to prove this year because they're both like a couple years ago were the top teams, were a game away from making it to the
That's always
Super
a tight
Bowl.
division,
That's
too.
a tight division. I think that's going to be a big game, big seasons for those guys. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch. What time are the Patriots playing? At 1?
Let me check.
So that's we're not gonna be able to see that game. Yeah.
That game.
Too bad. I Red Zone. We'll watch it on Red Zone. Danny, what do we got?
I'm going to take the Cardinals 49ers game. Kyler Murray has D-Hop to play with now, so I really want to see how that offense kind of runs. Fitz becomes more of a safety blanket type receiver. I think Kyler's going to take that next jump. We've had this trend of Mahomes, second-year MVP. Lamar, second-year MVP. Kyler Murray, watch out, guys. Year 2. Who knows?
Now, the thing about Kyler Murray, though, with the second-year MVPs is the first year the quarterback barely plays.
And he has a full season
He
under
has
his
a full
belt.
season under his belt, so maybe he has an even bigger year. I don't know. And they're both kind of
He has
same.
the weapons. He has the team, and I think it's really up to him. It's really up to him.
He's a
no
run-first
excuses
guy.
now.
I don't know. Should be good.
The question becomes Cardinals. How are they defensively? Because as far as I know, they're average, if not low.
I was going to say, I think they're kind of run-of-the-mill defense.
Because the 49ers...
If they can stop the 49ers defense,
so
first of all,
strong,
is
and
good.
So, I guess you could say...
They had
have so
some
many
close
options
games last year,
offensively.
though.
Yeah.
Cardinals and the 49ers got in some shootouts last year.
That's the thing. It's just going to be a slinging competition. It's going to be high
Defense.
scoring.
Really,
Yeah.
the first stop
first week.
the first stop may decide that game.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing, defense is so good. Dave Griffin took him in the 5th round. Doesn't matter.
God.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. Super Bowl. They just lost the Super Bowl. A lot to prove for them too.
Yep.
I'm hoping Raheem Mostert is kind of like the certified back in their backfield now this year. They got rid of the two guys that would. Well, no, Tevin Coleman's still there. Or is he? Is Tevin Coleman still
They
there?
still have Coleman, yeah.
They still have Coleman, and they got rid of Breda.
Yeah, because Breda went
Breda
to...
went to Miami.
Yeah.
So now I think Mostert is kind of like the main back there. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does, being close to every down back. I like that. And I also like the Cardinals, see what D-Hop does year 1 with a new quarterback. Similar quarterback styles between Watson and Kyler, both running kind of quarterbacks. So that's going to be a good game to watch. My pick of the week is Bucks versus Saints.
Another
Saints,
huge division.
Huge division game. Every game's going to be important in that division because they're so
tight.
That's going to
There's
be
so
the most watched game of the weekend.
Oh, easily.
It's a 4.
Yeah.
I hope it's a.
It's a 4:30 game, 4:25.
I hope it's a national game.
It has to be.
No, it has to be.
I think
There's no way.
Yeah, it
Fox
has to
have
be.
that?
Probably Fox.
I think it is Fox.
Yeah. Fox. I just think first of all, I'll say I think the Saints are going to win week 1. Shock the world with that. I think
Tom
Saints
Brady's first game goes down in an L.
Yeah,
Damn.
goes in an L. I just don't have. I think the Bucks are going to win. First of all, if it was away, now I guess with no fans, I guess it doesn't matter.
That takes away the whole gimmick of the Superdome.
Yeah. But I have a feeling first game, the defense, I'm not totally sold on in the Bucs. I know they have a decent defense, not sold on it. I'm just short camp with Brady with his new guys. Brady usually has a slow start to the season every year, like the Patriots do in general, but he usually has a slow start in September anyway, coming against a hungry Drew Brees, MT. Alvin Kamara is hungry because he's playing for that contract and he's ticked off that he can't get a big deal in.
Taysom
Hill, you just got a ton of money.
Oh my God. Huge contract for him.
Huge contract for a backup quarterback.
Well, to be fair, he plays like 10 positions.
That's true. He's a Swiss Army knife. But I think the Saints are going to come in. I bet they'll be the underdog in that game. And
they are. Can you hit that? See if a line comes up.
I don't think the line comes up.
See if I can find it. Keep going.
I think the Saints are going to shock the world and beat Tampa. I'm not saying Tampa's going to stink for this year, but I think they're going to be good. But I think that they're going to come out and win week 1. Gonna be a big one. I don't recommend picking them in survivor pools if anyone's doing a survivor pool, but
the bigger factor is gonna be if the Bucs are able to use a running game against the Saints, because you can rely on Brady for the throwing game, but I think it's one of the first times Brady's gonna have an actual running game behind him, with like a plethora of running backs to choose from. So we're gonna have to see if they can use that effectively.
New Orleans is a 3.5-point favorite.
Really?
Wow.
I'm surprised. Then I'm going with the house.
I don't know. I think it's. I'm 50-50 either way, to be honest with you.
Bucks
they both
plus
have
3.5. I might take that. That's a good line.
I think that I have doubts in Tampa Bay. They haven't done it yet.
Over under is 49. I take the over on that.
Yeah, I take the over.
NFC South shootout. I take the over on that.
But yeah, that's my pick. Saints. So we got Saints,
Cardinals,
and who are you picking? I don't think you said who you. I think you just picked picks of the week. I think
we kind of got going. I'm gonna pick the Packers over the Vikings.
I like it. A little way game.
If Aaron doesn't, then no, I don't think it's an option.
I have a lot of faith. in him. I think that's a good pick. I like those are 3 of the best games. We'll mention too. We got to mention because we're in New England. Pats Dolphins. I think it's no surprise here that I think we'd all pick the Patriots to win that game. I think, right? Everyone's going Patriots. Like I said, I think this is going to be a big game to see how we're going to do. A year ago, actually, I think it was a year ago on Saturday. I could be wrong on this. Maybe it was a week off or a couple weeks off. A year ago today, I know we signed Antonio Brown, and we were like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And I think a year ago Saturday
kicked the absolute shit out of the Dolphins.
Down
in Miami.
Down in Miami with Antonio Brown. What a year makes. So I think it's going to be another prove-it year. We'll see how Cam does his first week
for
1.
Cam to play for week 1.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good. Absolutely. Get your bearings, but don't sleep on the Dolphins.
That in Foxborough or down in Miami?
It's in Foxborough.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, it's in Foxborough.
Because I know, I really worry about the Patriots in that Miami Heat, so I really didn't want that.
But I don't sleep on Miami's defense because they have a
especially
really
with Flores at the helm.
And
it might not be a top 10 team, but you can't just walk over.
Yeah, and they just signed all the Patriots defensive guys to come play for them.
On the other side of the ball, it'll be huge for the Patriots defense to see what we have with all of our guys gone.
Right.
So it's going to come down to a lot of the second year and rookies to really step up and see what we have.
We'll see how Fitzmagic does week 1.
Yeah, that's going to be big too. I mean, he carved us up last year, week 17.
Yeah.
So
and we got Tua. You get to maybe you'll see. I don't think we'll see Tua.
We won't see Tua.
But he just got the backup position.
Because they released Rosen.
That's kind of
he went to the Bucs.
Yeah, Rosen went to the Bucs too. Everyone's going to the Bucs.
So I'm just saying, look out for Winnow to get Defensive Player of the Year.
Really?
Big take right there.
Big take. I like the rookie too, Duggar. Whatever his name is, the safety.
The D2 kid?
Yeah,
round?
I like him too. I think he's D3. Isn't D2? D2? D3? D2.
I can't remember.
Definitely not D3.
He wasn't D1. That's all I know.
Definitely not D1.
Because I made a huge fit about that during the draft.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for football to be back. As much as I love, and I think James is in agreement, as long as we love all sports, but football is like always has a special place in our heart, and it's like exciting to have that back in our lives. So, week 1 starts Thursday. Not a game we chose, but
that's going to
be Watson versus Mahomes. It's going to be a good matchup as well. But I think moving on to the next segment, which it's tonight's a big prove-it game for the Celtics. They're tied up the series. I am quite floored, to say the least, about Game 4. Jaylen Brown was quoted saying that they wanted it more than us tonight, and I'm very disappointed in the Celtics team that I still have faith can win a championship this year, but they're going to have to change the mentality going into tonight's Game 5. And obviously this comes out tomorrow, Wednesday. We're doing this Monday, so we'll know what happened. It could be it will be. Game 6 will be on Wednesday, so we'll know. But disappointed. I know Danny Football's been steaming on the whole hour ride here.
Let me take a deep breath before I start this. Let me take a very deep breath before I start this. Kill that spider, and then let me take a deep breath here. Because, I thought he was going to smash that. Oh, my God.
It stopped in its tracks. I think it got scared.
Yeah, I got scared. All right, moving on.
Sorry.
The Boston Celtics.
Speak to the camera. Tell them right now.
The Boston Celtics, I'm speaking to you guys, showed me the most gutless performance I have ever seen from a team wearing green in my
Mike is freaking out.
My 24 years of life.
Came in too hot.
So
too
much.
hot.
I love it.
Came in too hot.
You wanted passion, producer John. I'm giving you passion.
I don't know what to fix here. I just started to fix.
Start ripping this place apart.
Whoa,
but between
right. You almost broke the set.
We did. We're breaking it.
Between a buzzer beater 3,
Is there
miracle.
something still going on?
Yeah, I think that's
0.5 seconds.
Oh, that's definitely it.
Yeah,
there we
it.
go.
We're good. I'll just hold it.
0.5 seconds.
God damn.
Instead of playing a 5-4 defense, you back Taco Fall off and just have 5 guys cover 4 guys on an inbound pass. You put Taco in front of him, which makes sense, but there's also extra room on the end line because we're in the bubble and not an NBA floor where there are fans on the sideline. Kyle Lowry has extra room to work with, passes over Taco Fall, hits OG on the hands perfectly, fires it with 0.5 seconds, and hits a buzzer-beating 3.
I watch it. You don't have to. You don't have to relive it.
The absolute heart out of Celtics fans everywhere. And then Game 4, series is 2-1. You guys were on the verge of going up 3-0. You have stuck the knife into the Raptors. You just got a twist, and they come out lifeless, absolutely lifeless. Their biggest lead was 2. They never got within close in the fourth quarter. They just laid over and died and let Kyle Lowry and the Raptors steal Game 4, and now we're sitting 2-2 heading into Game 5.
This is basketball, not like gladiatorial games. Jesus.
This is what this means to me, guys.
This
is what this means to me.
Jesus.
I'm crying. That was beautiful.
Wipe those tears away, Big Red.
Andy broke. We never had
Andy broke
break
the studio
set before. That's crazy.
We're trying to make a year here, Zach. Don't break everything down.
We need a whole new set.
Yeah, I mean, they lost 193.
And it wasn't that close.
And it wasn't as close as what it seems. See, my take on the Game 3 is it's going to happen. Those things are going to happen. You shouldn't. It was a bad play by the Celtics completely. I don't think I was as devastated as you were because you texted me after that game.
I lost sleep that night, I swear to God.
Definitely a bad loss for the Celtics. But in the grand scheme of things, I said we're not going to sweep these guys. It's the defending champions for a reason.
I just hate giving a team like that any sort of
life. You gave them life, but I fully expected Game 4 to be a blowout. I think even Shaq said it was going to be a blowout. And
I was expecting a dogfight, and that's exactly what they gave us.
Why would you expect Game 4 to be a blowout?
I think because you just
thought they were going to come out pumped up, ready to come back and bury the Raptors after the buzzer beater, and they just didn't show up.
Yeah, they must have thought the game was the day after because they didn't show up. It was like if you have the win, you have like Kemba makes a great one of the best passes of the season.
Dime
to Tice, right? Tice got it and goes up by 2 with like 0.5 on the clock. You have the 3-0 series in your hands and then you lose it. I thought anyone would be
inspired to at least try
to like have the motivation to come out and
they come out
blow
with
the
a
doors
historically bad 3-point shooting. Jaylen Brown 0 for 9 to start the game.
Finished 2 for 11, but it had the
2 for
highest 3-point percentage of anyone on the team.
Oh my God.
It was that bad?
It was terrible.
It was really
Jesus.
bad.
Pull up some of these great stat numbers that we had.
Big Red had a good sequence. He brought up one play where Jaylen Brown took a 3, missed. We got an offensive rebound, which is as rare as it is. It went back to Brown, and he immediately shot another 3. And at that point, I think it was a 5-point gap between us and the Raptors. If we're getting offensive rebounds, get me to the hoop. Get me something through the net.
Get that guaranteed too. At least.
Exactly. And I don't know why he had such a quick trigger to shoot another 3.
I'll say 3. 3 key stats for me. We already talked about 3-point. I don't want to mention it too much. We shot 7 for 35 from 3-point land. Terrible. Absolutely god-awful. The 2 things that stood out to me was, number 1.
35 threes? Oh, my God.
The number 1 thing that stood out to me was what kept us in the game was points in the paint. We had, against a team that's very hard to score points in the paint, we scored 44 points in the paint. Not bad. You outscored them by, I think it was 18 in the paint. That's what kept you in the game. Why, when you're shooting 7 for 35 and you have 44 points in the paint, why aren't you
going
driving
down the
to
lane?
the paint?
Just go in the lane.
Number 2 is they were very sloppy with the ball. 14 turnovers is unacceptable for any team. 14 turnovers, terrible.
I had no idea it was that bad.
It was the worst game
sloppiest game I've ever
this
seen.
season. It was terrible.
Especially for a playoff game, which usually it's tight-knit.
And you shot 74% from the free throw line. You got to make those free throws down the end when you're trying to get back in the game. I think
such a bad free throw team.
I think Tice missed both.
Tatum always
missed one, which you can as the superstar.
No.
It was just a bad game. Jason Tatum had 24. Kemba had 15, and Jaylen Brown had 14. Those 3 guys, I mean, Tatum 24 is not bad. It was a bad 24, if that makes sense.
It took a lot to get there.
But Jaylen Brown has got to have 20. Kemba's got to have 20. You and
me talked about it. Like, Kemba, we're not going to, I won't say Kemba's like a superstar. He's not a Giannis. He's not like a James Harden. But, dude, you're the leader of this team. You're the veteran presence because all these guys are young.
Yeah.
You're the veteran presence. You need to pull these guys aside at, like, halftime, third quarter, in between the fourth, and say, guys, we're playing horribly, but we're still in this. We just need to make some shots. We just need to get a run going, which they were. They were getting stops on the defensive end. They just weren't capitalizing on the other side of the floor. And you can't let Jaylen Brown get either down on himself or just second-guess himself because he's missing threes all day. Tatum's not scoring. Tice is out doing nothing. I mean, it's up to the leaders on this team to get these guys going because they can't do it on their own.
Yeah. Another stat worth noting, the Raptors had, well, I just said they had 3 people in double figures and low double figures.
They were shooting lights out.
They shot lights out. Pascal Siakam had a double-double with 23 points. Anobi had 11. Van Vliet has 17. It was on triple-double watch. Kyle Lowry, a big 22. And Serge Ibaka, who I think is the X factor for them, had 18.
Who was quiet in the first 2 games and then came alive in game 3.
Right. So tonight, going into game 5, the Celtics have to win. It's as close to a must-win as it is to be an elimination game. They need to win. They need to put the nail in the coffin, and they need to go punch their ticket to the NBA.
This is the biggest game for the Celtics since Game 7 against LeBron and the Cavs.
Yeah.
You win this game, you're through to the Eastern Conference Finals, you're probably going to play the Heat. You can beat the Heat, and then you're in the NBA Finals, and it's anyone's game.
Right.
You need to win Game 5. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot let the Raptors win 3 in a row and go up 3-2 after you had a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
You need this game.
It's a huge game. And I know we'll all be watching it, and we'll probably be either depressed tomorrow or very happy going into Game 6 on Wednesday. But we talked about something before is like the reason I thought the Clippers would have a decent run in this playoffs, or it was the Clippers and the Nuggets. They had to have their backs to the wall. They were in crunch time situations. This is that crunch time situation. The Celtics breezed through the 76ers. They were breezing through the Raptors.
And you hit adversity and just fall apart.
So this is a big game. They have adversity. Let's see if they can answer the call. and hopefully they're on. If they win this series, I said it. I think they're in the finals.
Oh, 1,000%.
I think they win this series. They're in the finals.
I told you guys back in November that I thought this was a finals team, and they were half a second away from proving me right, and here we are.
Yeah.
But let me just say this, because I know you're watching, Brad Stevens. I want Rob Williams getting the majority of the minutes at big. I want Jaylen Brown to shoot less threes. And I want this team to come together for the common cause of getting a 18th banner in those rafters so that when we all come back, COVID's gone, we're in the TD Garden, they drop the banner, rings on the fingers, let's get it done.
You also said that you want to drive Wanamaker to the airport.
Yeah, Brad Wanamaker needs to leave. Brad Wanamaker is done. I can't stand he travels at least twice a game, I swear. At least twice a game this guy travels and gets us a turnover. Everyone else is fine, but Brad, you got to go.
Well, that was...
Had to get that off my chest.
He's been waiting to get that
Bubbling.
I'm glad you were able to get...
John said he wanted some passion today, and he got it.
That's true.
Stinks that this segment's getting cut.
Yeah.
He's taking it all away.
It's bad that we just found out the Celtics just lost, and we didn't cut this out.
We were so confident, we even made an Instagram post at 3-1 tonight, and then they lost. I had to redact it.
Man.
Yeah. That was funny. You edited it, redacted.
Yeah, I feel like such an idiot.
I'll also say to future Zach, depending on how this went, buddy, everything will be okay.
Well, it's going to be a big series coming down. It's going to be a close one down the stretch. I thought it was going to be, 5 or 6, and I think I'm going to get my wish. Hopefully the Celtics
You're definitely getting your wish.
I hope the Celtics go that way, though. I thought it was going to be, 4-1, 4-2. So hope it's 4-2. But before we break something else in the studio, I think it's time to get to our last it's one of our fan favorites, the people's topic.
The people's topic.
So as always, you can write into our Instagram, Twitter at Big Red Zone, or you can write them in on Instagram. Yeah, I already said that. And YouTube. Make sure you can write them in anytime or when we post things. So without further ado, producer John, take it away.
All right, welcome to the Joseph Celia.
Should we save him for last or no?
I want to
get up
the honor. No, at this point we should save him for last.
Yeah, save him for last.
Back cleanup.
First question comes from Anthony Ambrose 51. They ask, name your top 5 favorite football teams.
Favorite?
Yeah.
I mean.
Currently or all time?
I would say let's just go currently.
Yeah, currently.
Let's go going into this season.
Like the teams, like franchises. Obviously the Patriots. I don't think that's too much of a shock.
Maybe all time. I don't know.
I mean,
we could play around
I'm just thinking I'm just thinking like franchises. I think he means like franchises.
Like maybe like you prefer like obviously we
like
all
the
hate
Texans.
like we all hate the Jets and the Giants. We're not gonna put those up there, but like who do we not just they're okay.
Definitely the Patriots is number 1 for me. Man, easy first one to buy me some time to think about another person.
I like Patriots just in general for some, like most of it just comes from me like playing Madden as a kid and like just what teams I liked. I always had a thing for the Eagles.
Jeez, John.
Rams, Patriots, Eagles, Rams, Raiders.
Just like everyone that we beat
Raiders
in big games.
And yeah, honestly, they're all the Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't know what my 5th is.
All right, I'm about to bust out. Patriots, 49ers, the Texans. I like the Saints, and Saints is one of his favorite teams. Saints and wild card one. I like the Ravens. I just like the way Ravens.
Oh, wow,
they're like fiery. Seahawks is close up there too. I probably could.
Seahawks
put the Seahawks
maybe
in there.
In my 5.
They may beat the Ravens, but it's close.
I'd probably go Pats first, obviously. Lions, I have a soft spot for the Lions just because 0-16, I felt really bad. So I'm like, I'm gonna hop on the train.
You like them because they're so bad.
I'll hop on the bandwagon
That's
with them.
a pity favorite.
Pats, Lions, Browns, just because they're a dumpster fire. I love watching
just
that.
Like all the
garbage. I love watching the dumpster fires.
I know you like
Bengals. Yep. And then lastly, the Cam Newton Panthers were so fun to watch.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
They were such a cool team.
James.
I'm going to have to go Patriots, Saints, 49ers, Ravens. The fifth team, the fifth team is where I'm going to have to go Texans.
Texans, yeah.
Actually, you know what? I changed my answer completely. The question is, name your top 5 favorite football teams. I'm going Vipers, Roughnecks.
There we go.
What would any of the other ones?
Battlehawks. For you, Battlehawks would be second, I would have thought.
Yeah.
The Vipers, Battlehawks, then Dragons for you.
Dragons.
Yeah, then the rest of them.
Yeah. And the Patriots.
And the Patriots, 5th.
Shout out
Good
to
question.
The Rock for...
Yeah,
I was gonna say, that was huge for you guys.
Prayers up for The Rock, who just he has COVID.
He survived. He's already over.
Oh, he's already over.
Oh.
Never mind.
So
My prayers were
quick. That was quick. I like
the
that.
official XFL podcast is back.
I should ask for him.
Right? Yeah.
Back in business.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Now,
We were running out of stuff to talk about.
hear me out. Do you just pick up where you left off? Maybe like you reboot the league and you're like, all right, Vipers, you're still in last place. Roughnecks, you're
Probably
still in
not.
first place.
I
No,
bet they're
you
going to
gotta-
just start
I would
over.
like, man, in a good,
Keep the names and keep a lot of
in
the
a
stuff,
perfect
but,
world,
like,
they're just like, all right, let's go. And
Yeah,
then they just
as
go
if
from
nothing
there.
ever happened.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm with James. I think they're going to restart keep the same teams.
They're
but
obviously going to
just-
do a hard reset, but just like in my mind, I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool if they're just like, all right, you guys are 3-0, even though it's a completely different team.
And we're keeping our teams. Like, our
Yeah.
teams are our teams.
Our teams
are
our
of
teams.
course.
I'm Vipers fan for life.
I still have my Battlehawks thing pinned, my tweet. I'm a Battlehawks
Yeah.
fan.
yeah,
don't know
shout
why
out to
you do.
whoever bought that stuff when it was on sale, because now it's still good.
Yeah, right.
Dang
Oh,
it.
we didn't
Roof.
buy.
We didn't buy it.
Man, that's actually such a good idea.
Anyways, let's get
Second question comes from B Fried 7. Thoughts on Mohamed Sanu getting cut?
Horrible. I can't believe we forgot about that. Terrible.
I choose to forget about it.
What a waste of a second round pick. I am so upset. I wish they kept him on for this year just to see how he did.
Yeah, doesn't
not
make
so-
sense.
I liked him too. I'm not
Did
so
they
mad
give a
Matt.
reason?
Just cut him. It was one of
Right.
the cuts. Yeah, I don't know. I wish they gave him a chance because I know that's someone that you were interested in seeing how he did
Yeah,
this year.
because from what I heard, he owned up to last season not being very good. He's like, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a good effort and really focus on it. And look, no one's saying he's a great, athlete, but could be good enough to get the job done and be an efficient weapon
Yeah.
for the Patriots. But just to let him go,
I had a lot of
there
faith
was
in
no
him.
reason given.
Performance, maybe? I don't know. I mean,
Giving up a second round pick is
That's-
so.
You paid such a high
That's
price for him.
so much to just throw away.
Right.
Like, you saw all the talent this year that went in the second round that we could have had. We could have had Emmanuel Sanders for the same price tag,
right. And had him
And-
this year.
and you just not even trade the guy or give him a chance. You just cut him straight up. So you just wasted a second, like you said, you wasted a second round pick. I know Bill Belichick isn't the greatest drafter of all time, but that's still a second round pick. That's
You invested in him to let him go like
Exactly,
that.
that's-
At least what they should have done is kept him and at least played a few games with him and then try to see what leverage you can get in a trade with something else.
that's a guy you almost need to keep giving chances
yeah.
to.
You got to fluff him up, make him look good, to a
If
couple of
Josh
teams.
Gordon
and then,
can keep getting chances in this league, Mohamed Sanu can at least get
Yeah.
another run.
that's
It's
a valid
kind of
point.
like, not to the degree, but it's
Yeah.
the reason I went into the MLB trade deadline where you couldn't trade Verdugo. Like Verdugo, you just traded
Yeah,
for
you've invested a lot in that
Mookie
player.
Betts. You invested a lot. Not to the degree, because Mookie Betts is a generational talent.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, second round pick's a high draft pick, especially in the NFL. So, like you said, the amount of talent that went in that second round. So, I just think you invested so much in him, you had to give him the extra year. But
Mhm.
obviously, Bill doesn't have to do anything. And
Bill does what Bill does.
Bill does what Bill does. He makes commercials. Moving on. Joseph Celia?
Last but not least,
Sorry, I closed the app.
Mr. BRZ
blacked out.
comments himself.
Third question comes from everyone at once.
I don't know his name.
Joseph Celia. Let's see,
Yeah.
we'll edit
Joseph
it in.
_ Celia. Follow the boy. Don't really get his question.
Oh,
Haas is leading
if
up
you-
ball.
If you could build an NFL team from scratch, what would be the first 3 positions you'd take?
Okay.
Okay. Well, John, you're an expert drafter, so I'm interested to hear your take on it.
Explain this to me. Does
So,
it
like, when
mean-
you take a
Quarterback,
quarterback,
running back,
Ah.
wide receiver,
all the
kind of thing.
positions, like you're gonna nail down your quarterback, or you're gonna nail down a cornerback, a pass rusher,
I mean,
a running back.
quarterback, wide receiver, running back.
Okay.
I think.
So you
Right.
you would want to just solidify your offense first.
offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach. Coach, I think, is important.
Coach, definitely.
Coach in there. Maybe you want maybe you want a solid coach and then like 2 good guys.
Yeah. If we're including coach would be the first thing I'd
Let's
find.
not include coach.
Not include coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you want
like players on the field.
Yes.
Yeah, position players on the field. I'd go quarterback. You don't succeed in the league when you don't have a good quarterback, especially in the NFL. I'd go running back and a pass rusher.
Oh, you had the same. Yeah. That's literally what I was thinking about.
Okay, I'll go quarterback.
No, seriously. I was thinking that.
I just think like quarterback, you don't win without a quarterback.
Yeah.
Running back is like it's so hard to find. Like if you have a Christian McCaffrey, that's like, or like even like, I don't know, like a Todd Gurley or like someone like some Camaro, like maybe not the best in the league, but if you have like one of the top 5 running backs in the league, it's so hard to find that. It's like finding a Xander Bogaerts type shortstop.
Yeah.
It's so impossible to find. So if you can get a top running back, a top QB, and then a pass rusher, the next position I would go is like a left tackle. But
I'd probably go quarterback. Obviously, you need a QB. Cornerback, I like having a solid secondary just to kind of like, because I know you want a pass rusher to get to the quarterback. I feel like if you have a good enough secondary, you don't necessarily need like top tier pass rushers, because if the corners are defending, that makes the quarterback have to sit in the pocket longer, and it gives those guys more time to get there.
True.
So I'd say cornerback, QB, and just to kind of break the monotony, give me a stud wide receiver.
Stud wide receiver.
An interesting. How does he find these questions? Like these, it's like
It is a good
interesting
question.
Makes you think.
He always gives us these like open response. Like,
Yeah. 5-paragraph essay. And James, what you said? Quarterback, running back, pass rusher.
You know what I might do? I always like giving love to our former guests. And now that we know how important the position is, I'd probably go quarterback, running back, long snapper.
Oh.
yeah.
Shout out both two
So
guys.
Lonnie,
Yeah.
ooh.
Aaron Golub.
Right.
Yeah,
Aaron's a long snapper. Shout out to him too.
I'm taking 3 long snappers then.
3 long. Can never have too many.
One for punts, one for field goals, and one for kickoffs.
And one to be the
Even
coach.
though you don't have kick, one to be
No,
the
you
coach.
get them out there anyway. Set them up on like the opponent 30 and hit you right on the 50.
That's funny. We had two
long snappers. We're a long snapper type podcast.
See, I think that's a metaphor because we're always a team.
You're all about
playing-
metaphors.
Team playing podcast.
You're all about
We're
throwing
team
out
players
metaphors.
here.
Team
Team
players.
players.
That's
it.
I think that about wraps. Thank you. As always, make sure you go on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Big Red Zone, and Twitter at Big Red Zone, on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. iTunes, Apple Podcasts. I'm not an Apple guy, so bear with me. But leave us a comment. Rate our episode. That's kind of a cool. Rate our podcast. Leave a comment in there. Let us know what you think.
There are some ratings on it. There's only
there are-
1 or 2, I think, like actual like typed out reviews, but there's like a couple
ratings.
5 out of 5 stars, baby.
Hey, we're 5 out of 5 by the highest critics known to the U.S. So make sure you rate us.
It helps, apparently. It does something with the algorithm, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Well, make sure you get out there and rate us, and leave a comment. Also, leave comments in our YouTube channel. Let us know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and like this video. And tell a friend. Tell a friend about our podcast. Sharing is caring. So we want to thank Danny Football for joining us this week.
Thank you guys.
Always a pleasure having you on.
4th time in studio. Like what you guys have done with the place.
He the most recurring
No.
guest at this point?
Probably.
You guys-
This is your second or third time in
I think it's my 4th time.
4th time.
There was the very first one when it was like early NFL. There was January.
And then this one.
Right. There was January. Then there was the pre-COVID one for St. Patrick's Day.
Wow. 3
Yeah.
times.
4th
huh?
time.
4
4th time.
times, huh?
Because you guys,
Wow.
when Jack came on, you guys called him the most recurring, and I was like, wait a minute.
I thought you were only on 2 times. No, we did. We said you were the same as Zach. We definitely said you were the same.
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I can't remember. But
I
this is
can't
my
remember
4th
what I
time.
I don't
said.
watch the episodes.
Yeah.
4th time here, but first time in the new setup. So
Awesome. Well, maybe we'll change something else next time you come on. Some will be totally different. As always, producer John, thanks for coming over there. James, always a pleasure.
Lead us into next week. We got a big episode next week. Lead us into next
big
week.
Episode next week. The 1 year.
Week 52.
Well, technically not episode 52.
Technically it'll be episode 49.
We had a couple weeks off, but 3 weeks off in a year span. Not
really
bad.
not bad.
Really not bad. Yeah. But big year episode coming up. Should be fun. We'll go over some of the highlights from the year. Maybe show some times with former guests like Danny and all the guys that we mentioned.
Maybe we'll let Big Red talk a little Big Brother. Who knows?
Ooh.
Probably not.
No, probably not. Cut it out. Cut it out.
I'll just gas you up, guys.
BB All Stars is out right now. Big episode last night. 365
days. I remember when you guys started this. You guys are putting in a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of time and effort. It's crazy to see how big you guys have built this, and I'm looking forward to the next 365.
Aww. Appreciate it.
Go
so
Celtics.
Sweet.
Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.
And if the Celtics don't win, we got to keep an eye on Zach because things could.
Zach Shade on Instagram. Send me a DM and say, hey, are you okay?
There it is.
How you doing, bud?
There's the plug for Zach's Instagram.
There's the plug.
I put up either a victory video or a complete ripping of the team on my Instagram story. So
okay.
If you want to
looking forward. Peek, check it out.
Go ahead.
But yeah, looking forward to the 1 year next week. So hope we see you next week. And have a great week, everyone.